Alright, what's up y'all, LakerFan here. As you can see by the title of today's video, you have the #1 overall build in NBA 2K23. Now, as a lot of you guys know, there's a lot of 6'9s out there. Lots of different ways you can make them, and I think it's a pretty undisputed thing that 6'9s are probably the best height in the game. Now, in this video, I want to showcase what I believe to be the best overall build in the whole game, just in general. So this build's intended role is more mentioned as a point guard, shooting guard sort of role with Pro-Am. I'm actually having both my boys that are going to be playing the 1 and the 2 set up on this exact same build, and they're going to be playing the 1 and the 2 with it. But nonetheless, this can probably play nearly every position when it comes to park stuff. It could even debatably play the big man. This is the same stats as what I have in my Ben Simmons build for interior defense, block, and defensive rebound. Albeit the rebound chaser and the box out beast aren't exactly the same, but this still gets enough for gold box out beast, bronze rebound chaser, and as you can see, can get bronze anchor. 71 interior defense is definitely good enough too. 78 steal gives you silver interceptor as well. 86 perimeter defense is going to give you a lot of different things between all of the really good defensive badges you can get. So let's just go ahead and get into this. As you can see right here, literally clamps, challenger, ankle braces, and workhorse all one level higher than what you would have at 85. And again, this is a very versatile build. 21 defense, 22 playmaking, 23 shooting. Now, you might look at the finishing count as 9, and you're like, this is where the build is lacking. But here's the truth about this. With the 6'9s, the power that you can unlock with this is the fact that only tier 3 badge that's super important is posterizer. Other than that, you have limitless takeoff and then slithery in the tier 1 and tier 2. Now, as a lot of us know by this point throughout playing the game, tier 1 and tier 2 can be unlocked without having to put anything else on, whereas tier 3, you have to have 10 badge points worth of things on to even equip a tier 3 badge, and you have to have enough points left over for even that. So, what you're left with is you have to have at least 16 finishing badges to have silver posterizer, which you could get at 1 higher driving dunk here. But the plan behind this build is to literally just not run posterizer. An 84 dunk can still give you pro contacts. It gives you the LeBron James dunk package as well. At both of those, exactly 84 dunk, and then you have to have 75 vertical along with to have the pro contacts. But nonetheless, quick drops also at 80 driving dunk, and all of this included can give you the flashy dunks for more takeover. You can get the quick, efficient quick drops as well. Silver limitless takeoff, silver slithery, without investing nearly anything into finishing at all. And 9 finishing badges on the dot is enough for, as you can see, slithery, limitless takeoff, both accounting for 6, bronze fearless finisher, and then you could core gold aerial wizard for free as well. And that's literally a nice 4 badges that you can put on if you ask me. Not that aerial wizard is super good. If you would rather use your layup meter or something like that, pro touch I suppose, or maybe some bronze acrobat, whatever the case may be, or maybe you just don't think it's worth coring aerial wizard because you're never going to put it on, just do fearless finisher instead. Easy. But either way, all of this included, or if you get limitless takeoff, but it's definitely the harder one to equip if you're not doing anything besides quick drops or anything like that. But that's obviously, like I said, the weakest point of the build is finishing. Yet, at the end of the day, you have the 2 best dunks in the game, in my opinion. You have pro contact dunks as well. And just in general, again, you have the ability to backdoor cut. You can drive and dunk off a pick and roll. You can just literally ISO. And the threat of the 92 3-pointer lives like crazy. Pro 2 fade is unreal as well for those taller builds. Gold Agent 3 in the tier 2. You will still have enough badges for everything you need. I'll show in the test builder what extra badge points you should apply to this between finishing, shooting, playmaking, and defense and all that stuff. But nonetheless, gold blinders, gold deadeye, limitless range. We all know what 92 3-pointer is capable of, obviously. And it's really the best value 3-pointer in the game. Not to mention when you're on takeover with any takeover possible, whether it's lock, sharp, shot, anything like that, you're always going to be boosted to at least 97 3-pointers. So anything more than 92 is sometimes kind of overkill. 93 maybe is reasonable, but anything over that, in my opinion, pretty overkill. 73 free throw as well. That's what both my boys got. And then here's where we hit a couple modifiable things, and I'll talk about this as well. With the pass accuracy, you could go to 86 if you would like. You can get that gold needle threader. I just seen 2K Labs video on it. Long story short, to save you guys some hassle, essentially what is displayed in that video is showcasing that stuns are correlated to needle threader, opposed to what everybody was telling me wasn't the case. I said that back in the day too, and then everybody was like, no, it's literally just perimeter defense or how low you are into the paint and stuff like that. Nonetheless, needle threader actually is a pretty good badge after further review, and I gotta say, 86 will get you that gold. I unfortunately already have a build with 85, but either way, needle threader can be unlocked at the 86. Same with the only thing 85 dunk gives you besides the ability to get silver posterizer, even though we're not putting that on this build, is going to be an elite alley-oop package just for receiving the regular ones, not pro contact alley-oops, because you get that 84. But that's the only thing 85 dunk really gives you. I don't think it's worth, unless you're playing something like me, where if I were to create this build, I would prefer to have that. It'd just be nice to have in my bag for the pick and roll game and stuff like that. But Either way, I mean, the playmaking, 85 ball handle, as you can see, quick first step and handles for days on gold and silver right there. Once again, 85 pass accuracy goes a long way with that LaMelo Ball pass package, and then 75 speed with ball as well for the Michael Jordan dribble style. I mean, it's literally the threshold that you reach on nearly every single rating in this game between pass, ball handle, speed with ball, three-pointer, driving dunk as well. All of this stuff is like the perfect value. Then we have, once again, interior defense, very doable at 76. That's what I got on my Simmons build. And I feel really good, obviously, about my level of defense from interior to perimeter. Now, with the perimeter, I have about the same prim D on that build and obviously the same height, same speed nearly. But I have 2 more perimeter defense, it's 88, and then my steal rating is 90. So the one thing this build maybe struggles at is going to be stealing the ball. But I've already seen it firsthand in case you guys didn't get the memo already. Like I said, Zeke and Apollo have both created these builds to play the 1 and the 2 for my Pro-Am team, and I'm playing the 3 with my build. They are both plenty capable at getting interceptions as well. The pluck steals, no, not at all. But at the end of the day, you can still get bump steals, you can still get interceptions. It's plenty good. Silver Interceptor can still go a long way. And again, this build's versatility on defense is more what it speaks to rather than you being a complete defensive stopper at getting steals, takeaways, shot blocks, whatever the case may be. But again, bronze anchor, 81 block, 76 in TD. I feel very confident about this. And then again, we have the rebound, 82 defensive rebound for the gold box out beast in tier 1. It's the best value badge you could probably ever have as a point guard. And now you're 6'9" with 75 vert and 82 D board with gold box out beast. Now, as far as the tier 3 badges, we're not really equipping too many of them. I would say I would probably want to run Anchor and then debatably run Rebound Chaser as well. But you can core one of them. Probably Bronze Anchor is very easy to core, I would assume. And then Rebound Chaser can kind of just fall in line. But after that, we have the physicals, 80 acceleration, plenty good for running the point guard on a 6'9", 80 speed, once again, plenty good for playing defense with it as well, move around off ball. We don't have great strength, and albeit my weight is up quite a bit on this to get that 82 defensive rebound. Just keep that in mind. If you want to go super heavy on strength though, as you can see, it can really get to around 83, but I don't advise doing that. I don't think it's necessary. 75 vert is for the pro contacts, as we said, and then 99 stamina. So takeover options, we have shot, sharp, play, and lock. Real quick, as for the build name and the player comparisons, for this one it's Lonzo Ball, Cade Cunningham, and LaMelo Ball, and it's titled a 3-point specialist. Now you can get one that's titled Diming 3-point specialist, I believe, if you literally just put the pass accuracy at 86. Alright, so the reason that I went through the build pretty quickly and not as detailed as I usually do in the past is because there's a lot to talk about the badge loadout. First and foremost, most specifically, defense. I want to talk about how your lack of badge count definitely comes back to bite you a little bit here, but I want to talk about how you could run multiple different loadouts. So as we all know, you can kind of cycle through your badge loadouts. If you just click on your badges and flick to your right stick on the right or left, whichever way, you can put 3 different badge loadouts and quickly change them without any thought as long as you have them set before. And the reason for that I say that is because as I went over this with Zeke and Apollo, I did see that you do lack the defensive badges to be able to run things like, for instance, say Rebound Chaser if you want to run Chase Down Artist, or if you don't run Chase Down Artist and you want to run Box Out Beast, obviously you have to lack on something else. And again, you just run into this problem where you have to apply a lot of defensive badges. Now, if you want to run all of these really important ones, you could go ahead and literally just put on 5 extra defensive badges if you've hit level 40 or anything like that. But here's the problem. With the playmaking, I do believe you should add a couple more playmaking, debatably at least 1 for the clamp breaker. If you want higher ball handle and you get that gold clamp breaker, maybe a couple more. Again, the problem is you can't really run needle threader, so this is what Zeke and Apollo are both doing with their builds. They're literally just running this when it comes to playmaking. Now, after finding out, also through 2K Labs, shout out to 2K Labs. I mean, you guys go so hard with the content as well. I just gotta show some real appreciation with it. But after seeing that gold bailout and silver especially are not that much better than bronze, I'm just gonna go ahead and start running this on bronze. Same with all my boys. So if you want to get that +1 pass accuracy, you could just not run special delivery, and then boom, you have gold needle threader. My boy Zeke loves to throw alley-oops too, so we just like to, we show this badge a little bit more appreciation than anybody else. But nonetheless, you have pretty much everything you need for playmaking. But again, that's because they're satisfied with not running clamp breaker. So if you want to run clamp breaker, I would definitely advise to just not run needle threader and not run special delivery. Just put that 1 extra playmaking badge on. And if you do want to run something like obviously needle threader, you're gonna have to put a lot of playmaking into this. Or just not run bailout. Or if you're just a complete disbeliever in hyperdrive or something like that. I don't know. It'd be crazy to take hyperdrive, quick first step, and unblockable off, if you ask me. Same with the silver handles for days. So it's kind of up to you as far as how you go about all this stuff. I would assume most people for park style would probably prefer this right here, and then to add that 1 extra playmaking. I don't know. It's hard to say though when it comes to Pro-Am or anything like that. Especially playing with me, who's an inside. They don't really find it necessary to run clamp breaker quite as much, but it's quite a good badge and pretty bailout. So I would definitely advise, if you're someone who plays park or is a little bit more drive oriented, that you would put those extra playmaking into the build. But as far as shooting goes, I want to explain, there is quite a bit of a baseline here. I think you absolutely, at the very least, need to put 2 extra into shooting. You can get blinders on gold, and once you have cord, limitless range, deadeye, you're able to literally run those 3 tier 3s all on gold while still having gold agent 3 and Hall of Fame green machine. Now, if you're not a believer in green machine, a little bit more of a believer in amped, you could absolutely do that, and then go ahead and just put the rest into like volume shooter or clutch shooter, something like that. Whatever the case may be, it's all up to you as far as how you want to go about that loadout. I would just advise, though, at least 2 extra shooting. So here's what I found to be the absolute baseline and bare minimum. I would suggest at the very least 1 playmaking for this extra playmaking badge point in the clamp breaker, or if you just don't run it, it could still come in use a little bit as well if you do run that loadout I was showing earlier with no clamp breaker. And then also at least 2 shooting. So you have 1 playmaking, 2 shooting for your extra badge points. The bare minimum that you can have is probably 4, and then after that you can have 5 or 6 currently as the game stands, but I'm just going to go based off of 4 because that's what the most likely, like I said, bare minimum could at least be. So again, that can fit your standards right there, the 1 playmaking, 2 shooting. You don't need anything extra in finishing. I think this is a perfectly fine loadout right here to get the 5 badge points value on Aerial Wizard, then to just run your bare minimum, or not the bare minimums, but the maximum on Fearless Finisher, Limitless Takeoff, and Slithery. After that, if you want to add maybe like 1 more badge point in the finishing for Bronze Acrobat, I suppose, but I don't think it's really worth. I would rather invest it starting into defense because, as you can see, this is going to be something you run into pretty often. But now to talk about the badge loadouts you would run on defense. So for our example that we're going to talk about in today's video because of my teammates, Apollo and Zeke, one of them is going to be guarding wing, the other guarding corner. Again, this build has solid defensive rebounds, solid perimeter defense, okay steal everywhere, solid interior defense. Again, it's a very versatile defensive build. So this build will be displayed on wing D and corner D. Now, if you're corner D, you can just absolutely take clamps off, and now here's where you want that extra 1 badge point because you can run Chase Down Artist on gold while still running everything that you need, very likely. I'm not a huge fan of Workhorse. I've seen so many examples in my videos that I'm going to showcase throughout the course of playing Pro-Am that I get plenty of loose balls with none of this on as well, and I'm not a big believer in it, personally. Now, again, this is for the corner defensive loadout. Again, you have really good anchor, rebound chaser, interceptor. You're going to put that Chase Down Artist to gold. You don't exactly need clamps. It would still be good to have for the catch and runs, debatably, but it's a pretty underused badge if you're guarding corner, obviously. Now, for guarding wing, this is where I would suggest take rebound chaser off, and then boom, you can put the rest in the chase down, and then you have clamps as well. Or you could just not run chase down and maybe put it in the pick dodger. Depends on your team. Considering if you're running this as a guard or a shooting guard at the very least, you're probably on a very versatile defensive lineup because running a 6'9" is just in general going to make your team very versatile. So maybe you need pick dodger, maybe you don't. I think the way my team is currently structured, we don't need any pick dodger. And again, if you want to put that extra defensive badge point on anyway, even if you were running this loadout, it would still give you the ability to run bronze glove, which could come in handy as well. So no matter which way you slice it, I think at least 1 extra defense, 1 extra playmaking, and 2 extra shooting is the way that you should go about this build no matter what. Whether you run green machine or not, whether you want to run amped or not, in general, it would still help. If you want to put a couple extra more than just the 2 that I talked about in the shooting for this blinders to go to gold and put it in for maybe like silver amped or something like that, if you're someone who does a lot of shooting while fatigued, then definitely you could do so. Again, this all depends on your extra shooting badge count, but at the bare minimum, like I said, 2, 1, and 1. Simple as that. After that, anything you get for level 39, I would probably say you could put into shooting, again, for running things like amped at a decent level, or maybe you're a fan of clutch shooter, volume shooter, whatever the case may be. But again, that's all for random situations based on whether you like green machine, whether you like clamp breaker or not. Again, that's where the extra 1 playmaking would come in, and whether you like to run multiple different badge loadouts, or if you don't like any of that BS where you have to communicate between your teammates what you're running. But the extra badge loadouts on defense go a long way in terms of utilizing your build's absolute peak ability, whether it's guarding corner or guarding wing. Because again, if you're guarding wing, you probably don't need rebound chaser on. I'm gonna be real, the gold box out beast can put in enough work anyway. Debatably, you could just not even run rebound chaser at all. I think the box out beast is a little bit more important. You're probably never gonna be the most important rebounder on your team, I would assume, unless you come out here with 3 of these on the 3v3, in which case I would probably advise, if you're the big man, to probably run some rebound chaser, to be honest. Again, you could probably take something like clamps off in that situation, but if you're a very versatile team where you're running 3 of these, I'm not gonna lie, the versatility could kill, and to be able to guard the perimeter would go a long way. So it's all based on whatever you want to do, but I just wanted to give you guys this rundown as far as building the perfect build for you. If maybe you only want to make 1 build throughout the year, if you haven't made one yet and you're new to the game, or in the situation that maybe you have been burned on your builds a little bit and you're still interested in making new ones, and obviously it's probably the safest one you can go with. I think this is an absolute home run of a build. Again, the fact that you have lower dunk and lower finishing in general, yet you can still utilize this build with only 9 finishing badge points total to an elite level to run Silver Limitless and Silver Slithery is really still crazy. I've seen my boys still pop out the contact dunk meters with no posterizer. I've seen them still just in general use the dunk meter in a good way throughout just this one Pro-Am run we had tonight. And then on top of that too, you can still do quick drops. You can still do LeBron dunks. You can still flick up and hold up on your right stick for the fancy flashy dunks that still give you more takeover. It goes such a long way to have all of these packages and stuff like that, and just to have this value of finishing right here and just really good budget allows you to have such an elite build when it comes to everything else. Elite shooting, I'm talking this can easily run point guard, 92 3-pointer can, and elite playmaking as well. And while the defense isn't elite in many areas, it's versatile and can do literally everything except offensive rebound. So anyway, that's all for the video. I hope y'all enjoyed. We will have some gameplay tomorrow in Pro-Am where, ironically, I'm the one going crazy, but you will see my boys Zeke and Apollo both on like 92 overalls, 95 overalls with this build. It's not complete yet, but you will see the potential in it as well. And just in general, you can see the dunking firsthand for yourself if you're still waiting to see that, still waiting to see whether they can even perform dunks in general, and just really see the build firsthand. So anyway, that's all for the video. Hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, for to drop a like, sub if you're new to the noties, all good stuff. And like always, tries 1 to 2,000 likes. And if you made it all the way through, put 6-9 in the comments. Show support you made it all the way. And like I said, we'll definitely have this on display in gameplay in tomorrow's video in 5v5 setting. As I can see by the views, a lot of you guys love the Pro-Am stuff too. So I'm definitely gonna be planning to post quite a bit of it throughout the course of this year. I won't abandon Park entirely. I can promise you that, because I'm still trying to hit Legend this year. So definitely still planning on that. Also, turn on the noties as well. If you haven't already seen it, a lot of people are kind of mad at themselves because I actually load up in rec with my stream as well and just play with viewers only. Pretty often, I would say. I'm trying to get these rec quests done, and when I'm doing that, I'm pretty much playing with Noti Gang 100% of the time, where when people load up at the stream and they're the first ones in here, I just get the first 5 I can possibly get pretty much every time. And we go crazy with this stuff. I'm averaging like 35, like 8 and 8 too. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoy, and like I said, just all that stuff included. Stay tuned for tomorrow. Stay tuned for the noties, for the rec streams and stuff like that too. And if you want to make this build too, I'm positive I can play with this pretty well. But anyway, that's all for vid. Hope y'all enjoyed. Take it easy, man. Peace.